Okay, good. So keep some more of your sharings coming with to me. It could be privately in my chat box because that will help me stay very focused on making it extremely valuable for you. Okay. Which school, which college, what have you done in your graduation, and then we will get started. It's already 4:02 by the clock here. Uh, I'm just taking 5 minutes to hear from you participants a little bit more about yourself, and then we'll get started. Ravi, Gopi, Sivalingam, Samson, Prashant, anyone else? I'm looking at the names of participants. Kindly share. Please also please do write whatever little expectations that you might have from this session. Not that you know everything about the session itself, but still. Okay, Stella Maris, Chennai. So enna Subbulakshmi Tamila? Okay, very good. Welcome. So இது கரெக்ட் தானே எழுதியிருக்கிறது? ஸ்வாகதம். Okay, excellent, Talib. So Talib wants to know something special about civil services. Yes, I will share in the context of interviews. So we will focus on everything that is relevant to the second stage of civil services selection process. And you find that if you are aware of these, you can work in a very, very focused way right through the year to crack it a year from now. Quite literally, in your preparation to become an IAS or an IFS officer in 2020. That's what the pursuit is, I assume. Okay. So so it's 4:05. We waited for a few more people to join in for 5 minutes. So if all of you are ready, let's move ahead. We will keep talking about mains and prelims and interviews, etc., etc., as we move into this session. Okay. So I'll wait to hear for a S from you and then get started. Sure, Talib. What will I have to do during my preparation? We'll cover that. Okay? All right. So here we go. The session, this session is a part of our completely comprehensive program, which is one of the things that always has differentiated what we offer at Career Launcher for the last 22 years since 1995. Okay, where we say that the conventional wisdom, which borders on a myth, is that the written test is the most difficult part of the selection process. That's the myth, and that's completely untrue. As you know, there are 3 gates. There is gate number 1 called prelims, there is a gate number 2 called mains, and then the third gate is called the interview. Okay. Now, as you are beginning your journey here, it is very important to know that while passing this is important, passing this is important, passing this is equally and in some sense most important, because this is the easiest gate to cross. the filters are not that hard. Here the filter gets harder, okay, and here it's the hardest, okay. And some of the stuff that some of you are here in your journey, okay, and some of you might be here in your journey. As you go, there is a percentage of time that you have to dedicate to this. There is a percentage of time you have dedicated to this, and also you need to start working on this. It is, of course, is now in the zone of urgency for those of you who have given the mains exam. But even now you will find that some people wait almost till the results are out, okay. And what happens is, once the result is out, the time you have for the final hurdle is hardly a few weeks, and you would essentially be running helter-skelter to solve a bunch of various other urgent matters, and what takes a backseat or what does not get adequate attention from you is the preparation for the DAF based interview that happens, and that's what we're calling as the personality development program. And it takes time. It takes 6 months to 18 months to work on this in a very effective way, okay. So that's the context, that's the background, and all of it is about two things. One is, there is a DAF that you've already filled up and sent, or you will send at the stage, at the time of applying for the civil services exam. But to do a good job of it, it's very important to know the self, because the interview is another way to do personality assessment. It is just a tool. There could be some psychological part of it, there could be an emotional part of it that they are checking about you, there could be a knowledge part of it that they are checking from you, and there could be the intellectual part of it that they are checking from you. So all of those are the places that they want to reach deep into and do an assessment of. The tool that is used is personality interview, is a personal interview, okay. So with that background, let's jump into it, and we will talk about various things like, how do you manage time, what strategies do you adopt, what is the technique that work for me on a personal basis, and so on. So that's the comprehensive personality development program available, and from time to time we will do open sessions such as this, which you don't need to be a CL student to be part of such programs, and you will hear more about it today from me, or as we go into the months of November and December. Okay, let's move on. See, one of the simple things and an important things, and it may sound very, very highfalutin. Heard of this word? Okay, it might look like a बहुत वजनदार word, but each one of us have a personal vision, and we may be diffident, we might be shy to say it loud, but each one of us have it. That I want to become an IAS officer, I want to become an IFS officer, I want to own a car, I would love to buy a house, I like to get married, I would like to change the society. There are a bunch of things that is part of unstated, unshared, but personal vision that all of us have. Many times we don't say it loudly because we are shy about it, or we do not feel adequate about it, because all said and done, we are constantly fed this question of, am I good enough? This is a question that keep asking ourselves all the time. क्या मैं इसके काबिल हूँ? Am I good enough for this? Okay, and that is an important part that for us to cross. And setting goals And working in a very disciplined manner to get to that goals is the only thing that you and I have in our control. So when we are getting into this program, we are talking about kind of setting a goal very clearly, because the person who today is working with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and running his office is a gentleman called Nripendra Mishra. Mishra ji was a young IAS aspirant like you about 45 years ago. Okay? Now he is practically behind the screen man, running significant decisions of the country. Similarly, if there is an IFS officer, an Inspector General of UP cadre called Asim Arun, and he is running a significant part of the anti-terrorist squad. He was a young student studying in Delhi University in 1991, wanting to pursue IAS, and he ranked very well, but he was so keen on pursuing IFS that in spite of his rank, his option number one was to be in the police. So one of the things that we will do in this program is to actually set our goals, and number two is, how do I translate my goal into reality? That's the more important part, because we could set goals, but we don't work in a very scientific way, in a very systematic way, in a very disciplined way and convert it. This DAF that you have filled and sent, or you will fill up and send, is very, very important tool to be able to convert the call. And how do we build a profile? So if, like Subbalakshmi, you are wanting to take the exam next year, or Talib, what are the things that I can do in 2018 and 2019? I have got an 18-month period before I go for the interview calls. Then how do I prepare for it? How do I build my profile is another very, very valuable part of this particular program and journey. Okay, let's move forward. You're ready for this? I know. Welcome to the session. Just a couple of ground rules. My name is Satya. I founded Career Launcher in 1995. Like what I am doing for you, the PDP for IAS. I started Career Launcher PDP for MBA way back in 1995. Okay. I'm Satya, so call me by my name. I would love to interact with you. Just make sure that the learner in you is alive, active and agile. We will also have a lot of fun as we move forward. Make sure that you are that sponge that you were when you are an 11-year-old. Okay? The curious child always is the best learner. All right? If I'm doing well, you do tell me. If I'm not doing well and I make you sad about your learnings, do tell me even more quickly. Okay? Welcome, Ravi. And the biggest, most important ground rule is here. This session is for you. So if you don't understand it, the whole purpose is defeated. So don't stop yourself. Do ask whatever question comes to your mind without any hesitation. There's nothing called as a good question or a bad question. What question helps you is the best question. Okay? All right. Let me give you a task. Please draw a diagram of this kind in your notebook or a paper, and the task for you is, what is the least number of straight lines you need to connect all 9 dots with a pencil or a pen, and without lifting your paper off, your pen off the sheet of paper or going back. No curved lines allowed, no lifting allowed. And let me even make it a little easier for you. I'm a little friendly teacher. I say that join this using 4 straight lines. Then I'll go to the next step. And you have 3 minutes to do this. I'll stay silent. It is 4:17 by my watch. And if you have done it, either you can send your WhatsApp picture at my mobile number. Three 99993. You can WhatsApp the picture to me. How do you do it? Talib, minimum number of lines, or using 4 straight lines. So the answer will be a diagram, not a number. For me to know that you have solved the problem, I will count the number of lines. You WhatsApp or send a telegram to me on this. We have a civil services room in Telegram. You can send it there as well. I'll wait for your responses. 4 straight lines. How do you connect all the 9 dots without lifting your pen from the sheet of paper? Thank you. Okay, any pictures, any answers? How do we do it? Yeah, Talib, 3 is excellent. Send me the picture, and also send me the picture of 4. Saman Nusrat, join these 9 dots with 4 straight lines and send me the picture. Okay, so here is how the solution looks. Okay, and now that you know the answer, and you might have struggled trying to join it in the shape of a square, because the dots were arranged in a squarish format in your heads. You're perhaps looking for an answer in a squarish format, and now you find that the way to join the 9 dots using the 4 straight lines is to actually step and not come like this. Maybe you're trying to do that. Actually, to go all the way to a point. From there, when you turn, you are able to look at these 2 dots in a straight line, and you connect them, and then you keep going all the way. From where, when you turn around, you find that these 3 are in the same straight line, and then you turn around and join these 2 dots. Okay? And in some way, this problem is extremely symbolic, or symbolically representative of the way the civil services exam is. I start from here, Talib. The request from Talib is to redo it. Talib, I started from here and I joined these 3 dots. But I did not turn here. because that's the constraint that I am putting on myself. But instead of turning here, I keep going like this, and I go all the way until a point from where when I turn, look at in this direction, I can see these two circles in a straight line, and I connect them. And then I keep going until the time when I find when these three are in the same straight line, and then I connect it like this. Okay? That's the secret. The secret is to step out of the box. You have to step out of the box. You were perhaps limiting yourself to this box. And this box about IAS is, people tell you it is tough. People tell you only the geniuses pass the exam. People tell you you are not a genius. People will tell you a whole lot of things. But go and ask the person who has cracked this exam. She will tell you, did you put in the hard work? Were you clear about your goal? Were you disciplined? Did you have the right strategies to write the paper? Did you work on a long-term strategy on your personality? Did you work on your general awareness? So she'll tell you, ask this fundamental question, and if you have done that, you can crack an IAS exam. That's the secret of it. And it is as easy or as difficult as solving this 9-dot exercise that you tried doing in the last 10 minutes. Okay? Now let me leave the homework with you. Samson, just look at the technical support. If something has gone wrong with your Audi, just check that up. Okay? Now the homework for you is, can you connect it with 3 dots? Do that and send me the picture on my mobile, and you will get a surprise prize for it. Okay? The rules are the same. Rules are the same. So if you can do it with 4 dots, you will crack the IAS exam. If you do it with 3 dots, you will emerge the topper, All India topper from 1 to 100. Okay? All right. Let's move. See, the important thing, if you ask me, is to kind of reflect upon what is it that made it easy or difficult. One, we know that we struggled, but the important question to ask is, what made me struggle? That's the question. Because we saw what happened. I would encourage you to look at, why did this happen? Why could I not do it when I knew? Now when I now look at the answer that Satya has given me, I know that it was not as difficult as I thought, or why could I not do it? Now tell me, think about an answer, and I want to hear from each one of you one reason why I could not connect the dots. One reason why I could not do it. I'll wait for 10 seconds to see your responses quickly. One reason why I could not do it. If somebody did it, the question is still the same. One reason why I could do it. Samson, Subbulakshmi, Rakesh, Talib, yeah, Seth, think more, and I want to hear a couple of more responses. Never thought about it that way. What do you mean by the word that? That way. मैंने वैसे सोचा नहीं था. क्या नहीं सोचा था? Subbulakshmi says, I limited myself to dot. Excellent, Subbulakshmi. So there was a self-imposed limitation that you experienced, Subbulakshmi, and chances are that it is true for each one of us who could not do it. Saf says, I did not think about it that way, which means there is something called as I thought in a very conventional way, not a new way, novel way. Okay? Any other responses? I'll wait for one more before we move ahead. Okay, so perhaps mindset, yeah, perhaps mindset was an issue, that will be a square and not a triangle. Okay, uh, uh, self-imposed limitation was a reason, conventional thinking was a reason, whatever the reason was. You find that we struggle usually because, not because the challenge is difficult in itself, but I make it challenging because of my own thinking. Just remember this as we go deeper and deeper into civils preparation. Okay? And don't remember the homework. I'll move forward. You see, you don't have to study this. I have just pasted the DAF form here. Okay, and the reason I put it is that you know the kind of stuff that they ask in the DAF form, and kind of this becomes the mother document or the reference document for us, and those of you who have filled it up and sent it to UPSC for this year's interview process that will start early next year. We need to use this as a reference to study and prepare well during the PDP program. And those of you who are looking at 2020, please remember that there is a lot of work that must be done before you fill up the DAF next year. And we work with students very closely to help them to fill it up with a very, very clear thinking on what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what is the profile that I would want to build, what are my choices, why is it IFS and not IPS, what geography, whole lot of things that we will have to fill this up. And the rest of the session keeps this DAF and the needs of personal interview in mind to give you the foundation. So we will get into some of the conceptual sessions, some little bit of a theoretical background, which help you practice very well even beginning tomorrow. Theory is not how does the bicycle run on two wheels, but also to help you ride the bicycle effectively from tomorrow in your preparation. That's what we will focus on. But to do this, understanding the conceptual and theoretical framework is very important. Okay, and I will make every effort to make sure that we keep connecting theory and practice so that it doesn't become heavy for you in terms of ingestion. Okay, any questions, doubts, feel free to keep throwing them up to me whenever they occur. We move forward. So one of the first and extremely important concept that you must learn or become aware of is this very, very simple concept called circle of concern and circle of influence. And as a youngster, this one is of extreme value to you as an aspirant for an IAS, but you find that this is as much valuable to a CEO or a prime minister or a mother at home or any human being. Okay, it is a very, very simple concept that we must know before anything else that we'll go and learn in the program. You see, circle of influence is that part of my life, my world, on which I have influence. Okay, something as simple as that, which means I can impact it. What are the things that I can impact it? When do I wake up? What do I study? Exactly, very exciting life reasons that Ravi mentions. So just tell me, what are the things that you can impact in your life? I would want to hear one or two from each one of you. I've given you a couple of examples. You know, when do I wake up in the morning? I would want to assume that is completely in my control. What do I study from 4 to 6 today is significantly in my control. Like that, there are many, many more things. Can you just look at couple of those and I would like to hear it from you. Things that are in your circle of influence. Talib, Saif, Ravi, Subulakshmi, Rakesh. I would like to hear a couple of more responses on the circle of influence. Vishnu, excellent. Friendship, excellent. Maintaining good relations, okay, very nice. What else? What else? Any other? Quality, family, sure. What's my family life going to be? How large is my family? How do I deal with my anything, everything to do with my family? Yeah, Deepak. Okay, so we know what we're talking about in the circle of influence. All right. Now there is another part which kind of concerns me, or it has connection to my life. However, it does not fall in my area of influence. Okay. For example, how do I reduce the price of petroleum in the world? Perhaps out of your control. How do you reduce poverty in Nigeria? Out of your control. How do you do something else? How do I make Mr. Trump behave himself better and win the hearts of Americans itself? Forget about the world. How? You would not have it in your control. So it kind of is in a small way or a big way, it is connected to me. If I am in the middle of this, it might be this far or it might be this far, but it is out of my influence. That's a circle of concern. So the first thing that is important for us to kind of become wise about is, where do I focus my energy? And again, bringing back to the concept of civil services exam, and any concept which we are not able to connect with civil services, we will not accord it the importance that it deserves. So where do I channelize my energies as far as my civil services preparation is concerned? Will it be here or will it be here? Needless to say, it has to be as close to the center of the circle as possible. What does it mean? It means all my personal habits, the way I do my choice of subjects, how do I pick optionals, how do I write my DAF, which state do I choose as a cadre, what are my preferences, is it IFS, IAS, IPS, what is it, what are my backup options? All of these are something that are in a circle of influence. How difficult the paper is going to be, which is my examination center, what is the pattern of the paper. All of these, they have a connection with you, they concern you, but since you don't have influence on it, you make sure that you are aware of them, you are mindful of them, but you don't waste your energies trying to change them. And here is what people say, and this is the secret of success. The secret of success, it is said, is that the most effective people, they are so sharply focused on their circle of influence that over a period of time, their circle of influence begins to expand. And it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And their circle of concern as a result begins to shrink as a percentage. If the percentage earlier was 1 by 2, it slowly moves to 2 by 3. It moves to 3 by 4. It will perhaps never get to 100%. But the successful people are those people who are so purposeful, so sharply focused. Energy dissipation is the minimum that When they become very successful, they are able to influence a lot more. Look at some very simple examples, very random and simple. Someone like I don't want you or us to dismiss it as trivial. A Shah Rukh Khan at one end, or a Prime Minister Modi at the other end, or Bill Gates or a Zuckerberg at the third end, or an Amitabh Kant at the fourth end, one of those star IAS officers. You take any of them. Look at what they did and what has happened in the last 20 years in their lives. Nobody knew this gentleman even in the BJP headquarters 20 years ago. He was just one volunteer worker who was picked up by one of the senior leaders at that time, and then because he had worked for 20 years as a selfless worker, he was sent and he became the chief minister. And I don't want us to color any of these conversations by anything other than what is of value to us. Look at someone like a Shah Rukh Khan. People dismiss him and say he does not even know acting. And he focused all his energies in the center. Simple thing. I want to become an actor. People said, you don't know acting. He said, it doesn't matter. I will go and learn. He went from Delhi to Bombay. Did that. And then over a period of time became reasonably successful, and then he became a brand ambassador. Now there are brands like a Nokia or Santro or something. They use him as an influencer in something that is nothing to do with Shah Rukh Khan or acting. But there are people who love him and they go and buy the car. Look at someone like Amitabh Kant. Amitabh Kant was an IAS officer and an IAS aspirant just like you are about 30 years ago. He was an IAS officer in the Kerala cadre, and he was known to have come out with this great campaign called God's Own Country. That is still the campaign for the state of Kerala after almost 15 or 17 years, maybe more. And today he is the CEO of our Niti Ayog. Okay, look at this. He was just being a very sincere, innovative, hardworking officer. He got more and more responsibility, and today is influencing the policies of the entire country of 130 crore people. And at another extreme is, so I hope I've made my point clear. This is something that we should know when we are talking about our own lives. And how do I become successful 20 years from now? Don't jump here and there. What is in your control, you do it to the best of your ability, and then the world will open up for you. Okay? Any questions? I will pause here, ask you a question. Make sense? Say yes, it makes sense. Write it down. And also say, am I going too slow or too fast or okay? I'll wait, sip a glass of water and hear your responses. Thank you, Subbalakshmi. She says it makes a lot of sense. Any other responses? Okay, Sai, I can see you. Sanjay, Purohit, thank you. Thanks for your response. Ati Deepak, DAF stands for Detailed Application Form. I'm sorry, I should not have assumed. There is an application form that they give you, which you fill up and submit. It's called the Detailed Application Form. Okay? And the IAS aspirants in that world, it is known as DAF form. And if you looked at one of my slides earlier, I had put out the pictures, the PDF pictures of those. I can show it to you later once again. So it asks you, it's an 8-page form which has got over 26 questions, and it asks you everything about, you know, when have you written the exam, have you accepted the service, have you been debarred, have you been self-employed, what is your remuneration, educational details, family details, where do you belong, languages known, everything that you can imagine. It's like your horoscope that you fill up and send it to them, and that becomes the starting point of your assessment after the mains. But you submit it much before even the mains paper. Okay? All right, let's move forward. Thank you very much. We've covered this already. So again, just an example of this. And any one of you is keen to revisit this later on, this will be available online, and you're most welcome to re-access it and go through it once again. Okay? Let me move forward. So when we are deploying our positive energy, and in the middle, the force begins to act in all directions, and if you look at this, the area of this circle as a percentage of area of this circle, it has become greater. Okay? And when you are operating here, many people operate, you know, they waste time discussing how this man is a bad guy, how that man is bad, how the paper was difficult. When you're doing that, you're wasting your energies in the dark blue area, the circle of concern. When you do that, your circle of influence shrinks because you're externalizing the blame. You're wasting energies. Okay? And that is what reduces your circle of influence. Very simple, but my hope is that you find it insightful enough to stop yourself next time when you go in the reactive direction, which is outside. Stay inside, and life becomes much easier, and problems, and very massive problems like cracking civil services becomes very easy. I'll tell you lots of stories, and we will also have some very successful IAS officers who are serving right now, IAS or IFS or IPS or etc. They will come and talk to you over the next many weeks. Okay? Let me move forward. Okay. See, when you are writing the detailed application form, or when you're preparing for IAS, one of the things is very important to also be mindful of, and we will do some very interesting exercises over the next few weeks. I'm going to give one such exercise as homework today, is to reflect on your transition from your childhood to your adulthood. Okay? Because there are a lot of influences that you have had in your life, whether it is people, events, okay, aspirational thoughts, dreams, okay. All of these have played a role in you being where you are. And this is just an exercise to tell you, just reflect upon it. Reflect upon it, try putting them down in a diary, note them down. When we get to the PDP as a program, when we do face-to-face sessions, or when we do other sessions, this reflection will help immensely. Because whether it is IAS, the written exam, or even the interview, it is actually only about two things. One is the knowledge that you have, okay, either about the self or your environment. Okay, society, economics, etc., which I'm calling it as environment. So this is one box. I'm definitely oversimplifying it, but if it helps, I would rather do it. One is the knowledge, second is the expression of that knowledge in two forms, in the written form and in the spoken form. That's all. The entire halabulu of IAS is only about two things. Do I know it? If I know it, how do I express myself? In the written form or in the spoken form? Okay, we'll keep coming back to this theme as we move forward. Look at this. We'll tell you in a very simple way a whole lot of things that you are aware of, but you may not have been very mindful about it. And if you just master this one particular slide, you will have delivered a phenomenally good personal interview, or you would have delivered phenomenally well even in the IAS mains or written exam. I'll take a couple of minutes to explain this particular slide. You see, there are elements of our lives. Some of them falls in my area, some of them falls in the external world. Okay, this is the influence part, this is the concern part, if you remember that we did it. That is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at these two circles of my world and external world is what I love, okay, what the world needs, what I get paid for, what is it that I'll get paid for, what I am very good at. These are the four circles that intersect in a small or large part. Good at normally becomes the area of passion for me. It meets my social, spiritual and emotional needs. Just reflect about it. Make this diagram and think about it. Okay? And it will help you answer a lot of questions. Similarly, what I love and what the world needs, it brings me the financial, because if the world needs, and if I love doing it, it can become my mission. Remember I gave you the example of Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg was a young boy who loved coding, or a Bill Gates. And the world needed a social media platform at that point in time, which became a Facebook. Now, that became his mission, and the success of it gave him the financial outcomes. Okay? Look at every single thing. Similarly, what I am good at, what I get paid for, also can become my profession. Okay, we took the example of Amitabh Kant. I took the example of Asim Arun, IG Anti-Terrorist Squad in Uttar Pradesh, Joint Secretary Home Affairs, a young IAS officer by name Punya Srivastava. Okay, I'm very good at policy making. I'm very good at policing. I love it, and I also get paid for it. So it's become a profession. Okay, the similar expression of it also becomes my vocation. There's not much difference between the two, and when you intersect all of these, and come to the center of it, this is where it talks about, you find meaning, you find purpose, which is the deepest part, when you're able to find all of these. Okay, a purposeful journey is there a way for me to bring mission, passion, profession and vocation to fall in this place? Think of a Guy like Virat Kohli. Think of a guy like, or a, it might sound a little casual to use the word guy and girl, or a person is perhaps a more formal word, but you know what I'm saying. Think of someone like Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. Amjad Ali Khan. Okay? Look at what they have done. It's a vocation. He is so passionate about it. He has made it a mission to kind of become the best batsman ever to have walked or played this game of cricket. It has become his profession. Look at how purposeful his life is. And you find that the most successful and inspiring people, they stay so close and so central to the two circles that we spoke about, that over a period of time, this one practically becomes like this. That's why when an Akshay Kumar tells people, Padman, he does a movie, people might say, तो क्या है, movie बना रहा है, कौन सी बड़ी बात है? But इसका बहुत बड़ा social impact होता है. उसको state government और government of India उसको ambassador बना लेता है. I hope I'm making sense to you. So ask yourself these questions, and when you go for the interview, if you are able to put your life in this form, in our PDP file that will be given to you, and we do a bunch of interviews keeping this in the middle, you find that there is no way your IAS interview is going to have one question out of our preparation. Not because we are gods and we know the answers, or the question paper is leaked, because we understand life. And IAS is nothing but a very small subset of life. And if your efficacy is good with with life, your efficacy in IAS is going to be damn good. There's no doubt about it. Okay? Let me pause for a moment and again take a quick feedback. Shout at me if it is not making sense. Say eyes if it makes sense. Type this and send it to me. I'm waiting and having another gulp of water. I'm waiting for your responses, quick ones, before we move to the next slide. Sai, Sanjay, Subbulakshmi, Talib, you have gone silent. I hope I have not put you to sleep. Saf, okay, all right. Thank you very much for your responses. So we've covered this already, so I don't need to spend time repeating this, and I'll go to the next slide. These are questions that we have already asked. What do I love doing? The thing I cannot not do. Okay. The choice that people make is, suppose in a very interesting way of asking this in the form of a question is, suppose they say that IAS is not going to pay salaries for the first year or the first 2 years of your joining IAS. Will you still prepare for IAS and join? That's a different way of asking the same question, saying that even if you are penalized, you will still do what you're doing. That's where passion comes in. That's where it becomes your mission. Okay, and that's the place where the vocation and profession can be built. That's what is needed, and these two are very important. Otherwise, these becomes jobs, and when that happens, the downhill is very precipitous. Okay, let's move forward. What am I good at? Very important for us to know what are my strengths. Okay, and the reverse of it, we know, is what are my weaknesses. Okay, and remember, many a time when we work on this, prepare on this, there is always this myth that what should be my strength, or what should be the strength for somebody to select me to get into IAS. What are the weaknesses that I should not have? These are the questions students ask. I think all of this is bunkum. Okay. First of all, there are strengths that are pertaining to all dimensions. You know, what skills do I have? What knowledge do I have? And what are the attitudinal strengths that I have? So you must look at all these three aspects. Okay? And being aware of it is very important. You know, Talib, you asked a question to begin with about, you know, what are my strategies? What should be my strategies? So before you build a strategy, you have to do what is called as diagnostics. Diagnostics is what are my strengths and weaknesses. You know, my writing skills are very good, but my GS is still not so good. I have not been reading newspapers and high quality newspapers regularly for the last 3 years. So you need to set this right. That's my weakness. This is my strength. Similarly, my spoken English, my English writing is good, but my spoken skills are not good. I need to become a good public speaker, and it includes in both languages, in my mother tongue as well as English. I need to practice speaking. So this entire analysis is a very important and involved job which should be taken extremely seriously the day you start preparing for IAS. You know, at most places these are kind of brushed aside, and people say पबैड की तैयारी करो, GS पढ़ो, ये करो वो करो, वो जरूरी है, लेकिन जब आप वो सारे हर्डल्स पार करके आ जाएंगे, पता चला है कि इंटरव्यू स्टेज पर everything goes puss. We have people every year I meet, even now a couple of my colleagues who work with me are of those kinds, who have cleared the prelims, cleared the mains, and 4 times interview. And then you come and start teaching for IAS. Okay? Remember, it's important to remember what are the pitfalls and make sure that you don't commit those mistakes. Okay? Let me move forward. A couple of examples. You know, these are the guys who are rock stars. You must read up. These are the rock stars for you. A guy, a Nagaland, young police officer, young IAS officer, laid out 100 kilometers of road without any help. And he didn't crib or sulk that money is not coming. He found a creative way to execute the project. You would not do it if IAS is your job. You will not do it if you are not carrying a missionary zeal to impact the country and impact the society. You would not do it if you are not passionate about your job. And it just is a job because it gives you money to run your house. That's it. Okay? Great example. You must read up about Pame. Very recent examples. You know, they evacuated 2 lakh people. Kerala IAS officers, Krishna Teja and Dr. Isaac. Look at this. Okay? And knowledge about them, knowledge about such role models will always help you when you are sitting in front of the interview panel. So you should, and that you would know if you have a disciplined way of studying and adding on an everyday basis. This one should not be, oh, this is important, but right now I don't even know if I'm going to get an interview call or not. So let the interview call come, then I will study. Then you are never going to get there. Every single day you should be absolutely thorough. And I don't know whether a 30-minute study is good enough for you or you need 3 hours of study, depending upon how well have you been doing it for the last 5 years and how long have you been doing it on an everyday basis. Okay? Another example, Narahari, winner of the Emphasis Design Awards 2017, and he was passionate. And you know what you will find when you look at it like this, you know, whether it is Narahari or a very different example like the you know, the Satyam CEO, Satya, the Microsoft CEO, okay, or many such examples. You find that the motivation to do would have come from some such experience or you know, in their life. Go and look it up, and I would love for you to send me a WhatsApp saying that, sir, I have looked at the life and the Wikipedia, Googled about Parikipandla Narahari, and in his family he has seen this disability from close quarters, and that has been his motivation for him to do it when he became an IAS officer. And tell me, how has Satya Nadella has been doing in Microsoft? Think about it. And when they're doing this, these gentlemen are solving a very important problem for which the world has been waiting for an evangelist. And that's how they become massively influential social impact achievers in a very short period of time. Okay? I hope it continues to make sense. Let me move forward. Deepa, Saif, Sanjay, Sai, shout. Make sense? Should I go fast or is it perfect? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So, what is the cycle of excellence? Remember this. See, there is a saying that for the person or for the man of action, thought is the starting point of his action. You know, he converts a thought into a simple language, converts it into a mission statement, and quickly gets down to action. He doesn't sit on this thought and go into a group discussion. If you want to excel in IAS, if that thought is there, does it get the language? Does it become a study plan? And to do that, you have to be extremely well informed. Okay? And to get informed, again there is an action. What guru do I choose? What friends do I keep? What books do I buy? All of those translate into actions here. And you would measure the outcomes on a weekly basis. We are not talking about, do I make it to IAS in 2019 July and go to Mussoorie? Of course we will measure that in the month of July. But what do I measure on the 15th of November, 30th of November, 1st of December, 15th of December, 1st of January? What do I do? If I have an action plan, it's got a weekly breakdown, And these outcomes lead to two things. Okay, one, if the outcomes are positive, they lead to confidence. If the outcomes are negative, it creates a learning agenda, which means you say that no, the action plan was very ambitious because I was very disciplined and I need to rework on the plan. So there is a bunch of iterations that goes around like this. Confidence takes you up, learning agenda makes you better, and that creates the action. So the cycles here actually is almost like a cycle that goes like this. Okay, so make sure that you are first of all embracing the cycle of excellence, and when you do that, you say, what are my thoughts, what are my stated goals, language, I give a language to it, what are my actions, what are the outcomes, am I measuring them, and do I circle back and build that into the next cycle of excellence. Okay, keep shouting your questions if it's clear, unclear, whichever way, and I'm moving forward. Maybe I'll skip this for today. I'll pick it up in another session, just to ensure that it doesn't become too heavy for you. But just one advice, just see if you can Google and read up. Those of you who have given the exam once, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Maslow's hierarchy. Read this up. We will pick it up at the next opportunity in our PDP program. Okay? All right, let me move forward. See, this again is an explanation of the same thing. You saw that there were 4 petals that were happening, you know, and the purpose was this central part. There was mission, there was passion, there was vocation, there was profession. Okay, this one talks about that, being purposeful, being missionary, being passionate, converting into vocation, and it becomes a profession. Okay, so this is just a more elaboration of that, and take a look at it, read it up. It's there in your PDP file. You will get handouts of this in the downloadable format on the website, and it helps you to. It's a reiteration of already that I have explained in the previous 2 pictures. Okay. Some of the things that I would like you to do as almost an exercise for you, home exercise. Okay, keeping your current reality in mind. Where am I? The big picture that you see in 2019 or 2020. What's the big picture that you see if this is the eyes that are looking there? Okay, what's the big picture that I see? Okay, why am I wanting to do IAS? What about IAS? Forget about the social prestige. Forget about what you get. Write about what will you give if you become an IAS officer, if you become a civil servant. What is it that you bring as a value to the profession? Suppose you see, like you are looking at IAS. IAS, if I were to personify her, she also is looking at you. Okay, this is her view of you. And if you were to meet her and she asks you, what do you love doing? What will you do for me? What are you good at? What can I benefit if I embrace you? That's a very important bunch of questions to answer. And look at the short term and the long term goals. Okay, for example, one short term goal obviously you will say is to crack the civil services exam. What is your long term goal? that will answer a lot of these questions that she might ask of you. Okay. What is the alignment that you have? Which means the question is, why you? Why not somebody else? That's the question that you need to answer. And then this is, why IAS for me? Why not MBA? Why not GATE? Why not something else? Why, when I say IAS, you know I'm talking about why UPSC? Why not bank? Why not armed forces? Why not become a business person? So instead of asking 27 why not, the question is asking why civil services. Okay? And then assume for a moment that your wish is granted. Then if I meet you 20 years from now, if I meet you 10 years from now, what will you have achieved? What will you have achieved in 10 years and 20 years? Okay? So the idea is, if I'm here, if I want to go here in 2030, this is my milestone. I want to be such and such person here, and this is where I see it happening in 2025. I need to be here in 2023, and this is where I have to reach by 2020, and this is where I'm in 2018. This is what is the path that you should be able to show for you to make an impact at various stages of this journey before you go to Missouri for the training program. Okay? Make sure that you take a piece of paper and a pen, okay, or a laptop or your mobile, and type away, write an essay called My Life, My Journey, My Goal, and write it in very simple, understandable terms for your own sake. Think of a 500-word essay. And when you start writing it down, and then you keep referring to DAF, you find that if you are able to do this, what in the admission process of foreign universities, they call it as statement of purpose. That's what it is. The entire thing is, I am breaking down your statement of purpose into 10 or 12 simpler questions, specifically keeping UPSC in mind. But I'm advising you to write the SOP for DAF in 500 words, send it to one of us, get it reviewed. It will be of huge value to you. Okay? All right. Now I'm coming to some operational part of benefiting the maximum from our interactions and programs. How do you make the most of it? A little bit of admin stuff. We have this student platform called aspiration.ai that has had over 26 lakh students use it over the last 20 years. This is the number of tests taken of various kinds, whatever this is, and you can just go in and sign. It's a free signed platform, and when you sign up and you say you're interested in civil services, you go here, it shows up. When you enter your date of birth, etc., you say you're born in 1989 or 1992, whatever that date is, 1994. Okay, it shows this up for you. Use UPSC, and it is free platform. So if your backup is a bank or an SSC or whatever else, feel free to do that. What you get are a bunch of stuff. You look at this, there are notifications that are happening. You get a notification. In this, there is not yet a notification. So every day you get new notifications, general knowledge digest, etc. You get that, you can benefit from it. And then as you go deeper into your civil services, Ananya's civil services kit, if you go inside, this is where we are. Here you get the entire PDP masala. Okay, and you get everything else: the grammar, the current affairs, the tools, the blog, the games, relevant videos for civil services. Even that what we are doing here, this particular session will be available here, GK zone, etc., etc. You can benefit from it. Make sure you make the most of it. And when you go into the personality round, the personality section, you have these 3 tests. Okay, our next session that I will do will be built on these 2 psychometric tools that are available on this platform. Okay, you take this, it's called LOCO and it's called PE. It'll take about 10 minutes to 12 minutes each, so you have to spend about 20 to 24 minutes of your time. Submit it. It's got a calculation engine at the back of it. You'll get some scores. Keep those scores handy when we do the next session. I'm going to do the first session of personality development program is a session called PS1, which is personality session 1 with for the DAF and civil services mains preparation, relevant for both 19 and 20 aspirants. Make sure that you do these 2 tests and come, and this is how the simple questions look when you go into the P test score. Just have to respond. You know, this is how this is what my response is, this my response is this, etc. And I'll take you through that session once we have done. Okay. Before I close, we will start the batch on the 10th of December. This is what we call as PDP planned. Okay, DAF and PDP planned. That's what it is. This is valid until the results are out. You know, once the results come, people are running crazily, helter-skelter. That at that time, the program will become the crash program. Right now, DAF PDP planned is in place. It starts on 10th of December. We will do a few free sessions until that point in time. The program fee at that stage would be as it is mentioned here, but we always focus on kids, students, aspirants who come early and increase the chances of success. And in order to incentivize such students, there are always such friendly offs. So forget about the price. Just submit the DAF. Send a mail here for any questions. masterclass@careerlauncher.com. Our next masterclass will happen formally as a part of the program. It will happen on the 10th of December, but we will have some session or the other every Saturday. And one important thing that I should mention to you is that you know, we are trying to line up some top officers to come and share the my life, my journey, my life. Okay, and you get an opportunity to interact with them. These all would be serving young officers, and maybe a couple of them who could be seniors, but who have gone through the civil services and now might be in significant positions of experience, authority, influence, insights. We'll get all of them to come and share their journey with you. Okay, we are planning to do it on Saturdays, and I wanted to just ask one question and hear your responses. Is Saturday 4 p.m. that we have taken, is that the best time, or is there any other suggestion? Just send me what day, what time is the best in your judgment to have maximum value and hence attendance for such programs. I'll wait for 60 seconds before I move to close the session. Is there a use? देखा? अच्छा. Sai, Saturday 4 p.m. works, or any better timing, since you are the beneficiaries. You know, if it is of no use to students, I'm wasting my time. I would love to hear from you. What is the best day? What day, what time is the best? Sai, Deepak, Ati, Deepak, Sanjay, Subbulakshmi, you've gone to sleep. Saif, Rakesh, Talib, Deepa. No? Saturday works fine. Okay. All right. So the session flow of our program will look like this. Session 1 and 2, DAF and personality session, which we will do. So the first session when we start the program will be PS1 and PS2. Okay, the first 2 sessions. Then we go into introduction of interviews. We will do very detailed, hands-on, with a lot of exercises. Communication. Remember, I mentioned to you, it's all about communication, whether it is written or spoken. Of course, there is no doubt that knowledge is extremely important. There is no doubt that attitude is very important. There is no doubt that skills are very important. But spoken skills, communication skills are most important. Okay? Then we will have sessions of individual counseling, where you will have a faculty mentor sitting with you and guiding you with a very focused discussion with your DAF or with your biodata in hand. Okay, we will have the GS and current affairs analysis driven sessions by people who are very knowledgeable and insightful about current affairs. That will keep happening right through the program, almost at the rate of a couple of weeks, and we'll pick up a theme and then do a session on the theme. For example, International Solar Alliance, that the headquarter has been set up in India. What is it? Why is it happened in India? What are the implications? All such things. Okay. Similarly, what are the millennial goals? MDG. What is MDG? And then go into the diverse aspects of millennial development goals and all of that. So you know it. So we'll pick up points of relevance and analyze it and hopefully do a 360-degree view of that particular topic, so that it helps in your journey. Okay. Then we will do mock interviews with personal feedbacks. So you know, it doesn't help just going into a room, doing an interview, and that's it. Nothing else is happening. We also have a platform which we will enable you, where it's a good way. You know, from your homes, you will have our PDP questions which have gone live. You read the question and you record your 2-minute answer in it, and the faculty, wherever he or she is, she will review it and give feedback to you. So you're saved of time. We use technology, so we will do some interviews live, and we'll also give you mock interview practice drills which you can do on our eViewMe platform, and then you can combine that with feedback and keep improving. Okay, that's how our program DAF PDP planned will run in the months of December and January. Okay, a couple of names and successful successful civil servants that we are trying to bring. These are some of the upcoming sessions. We are scheduling their dates in consultations with them. Mrs. Punya Salila Srivastava, she was the Education Secretary of Delhi government. She is a 1993 officer of civil services. Currently, she is serving in Home Department. Depending upon her availability, this achiever will come and share her thoughts with her. As you know, we had Ashutosh come and speak with us on his journey and his life. You know, BPSC, rank 17. This is available on YouTube. Please go and benefit from it. Aveg is a very, very interesting and inspiring story. An IIT Delhi graduate who has gone on and cracked the civil services and worked there for about 10 years. And then after serving India as an IFS officer in various countries across the world, including Europe, South America, he exited foreign service and joined the private sector, and now he is a CXO with a very exciting startup. He will come and share his journey from IIT to IFS. How was it, and how was his life as an IFS officer, and how is it now 20 years post his being a civil servant aspirant. Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget to ever reach out to us. Anything that we can do with you, we can do for you, we'll be very happy to do. This is my email ID. This is the masterclass email ID. If you write to this forever, any material, any support that you need, you will get it. So don't hesitate to catch one of us, and have a good weekend. Look forward to the next session next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care.